Today I'm going to show you how to edit moody street photos just like this in Lightroom Classic. Let's go. Afternoon, welcome back to the channel. As I said in the intro, I'm going to be taking you through how to edit a moody street photo. I've got 5 photos here, 4 of them pretty similar, one's slightly different. I'll show you how I edit them, how I get this moody vibe within the photography, and yeah, hopefully you can then recreate it within your own work afterwards. So let's go. So as you can now see, we are now in Lightroom. This is what the final image looks like. This is the sort of look we're going to be going for. It might not come out exactly the same as it is right now, but this is the overall vibe that we will be going for within this work. Yeah, so first thing we'll do is we're going to hit reset. Okay, so this is the raw. This is the before, that's the after. Big difference there. As you can see, we put in a proper moody vibe to it. Bit of blue tones, fairly contrasted, but the main difference is we need to hit that auto correction straight on it. So first things first is I always like to start with a S-curve, which I am going to bring in because I'm going to bring down the highlights, bring up the shadows. Now the reason I'm doing this here, as I've talked about in other videos, this will fade your blacks, as you can see there. The further we go, we're not going to talk about that. This will fade out your blacks, so they're not pure black, and this will fade out your whites, so they're not pure white. I do that because it gives it that moody effect, in my opinion. We're going to bring the mid-tones up ever so slightly, and then I'm also specifically for this image, I should bring down these highlights a bit more. So I'll play around with that myself. So even though I said I'm going to start this with an S-curve, it's not really an S-curve, but you know. I am then, however, going to pull an S-curve into each of the colours. A really, really faint S-curve. I'm going to sync that across the lot. Okay, next thing is I'm going to bring the highlights down. I need to turn my screen brightness up because I can't see anything. There we go. Highlights down. Shadows I'm going to bring up a tad. Whites I'm going to bring up a little bit for now. And blacks we're going to go down. Contrast we're going to put up. Clarity, like you can see here, the effect clarity has. I think for moody city photos, clarity looks good. Look at that before and after already. We're not there yet. This needs a bit of tweaking, but I like it. I'm going to bring the shadows out a little bit more. I want it contrasted, but not too contrasted. I am actually going to bring them whites pretty much back to where they were. You don't need to adjust them. Specific colours, I don't like that there. I don't even think I removed that in the first image. We're just going to pull the red out of that completely. Not the orange though. Just the red. So that's just a bit more subtle in that corner. And shadows. Alright, so highlights. We're going to chuck in some teal. Straight away into highlights. Only a little bit. And yellow in the shadows. I'm thinking a little bit halfway between, a little bit of green in the midtones. Really, really minor color grading, as you can see here, because color grading has a great impact on your image, so you don't need to go too intense with it. What's the shot? ISO 800. We're not going to bother doing any noise reduction. Remove chromatic aberration because I do it every time. Profile corrections, I'm going to leave it off because I like the look. I don't like how it just removes all my moodiness. And we're going to bring in a bit of a vignette. I like to feather my vignettes out like that. And we're even going to chuck in a fair amount of grain onto that just for the vibe. Before, after. Look at that. Look at that. See how quickly, well, that's been like, what, 6 minutes? Maybe, if I looked at the time at the right time. To achieve this moody cinematic look. Obviously I could go a bit more intense. I can edit that out and get rid of the colour completely if I wanted to. I'm happy with it just being desaturated. I like the pop of orange in this area and the little bits of orange around the image. contrasting against the teal. Obviously teal and orange is that vibey look that a lot of the editors go for. This is image number 2. This is the edited version. This is the before version. Big difference, as you can tell. I'm fairly certain if I was to copy the edits I did in that last one, we're going to get a different look. Similar look, but different look. Now, I am going to undo that, and I'm going to reset this image completely anyway. First things first, apparently your boy was drunk when he took all these photos because none of them are straight. I'm going to do that. Okay, so image number 2. This is the original edit that I did, and this is the before. Can you see that bit of fluff? Because I think that just came off my cardigan. This is the before. This is the original edit I did. I'm fairly certain if I now sync my last edit onto this image, it's going to look different. It's going to be a different edit, but we're going to use that as our starting point. Let's do that. So that's what we're going to work with. We're going to use that as our starting point because I want it to be how I actually edit. And to be honest with you, when I edit a collection of images, I will edit the first one, and if the rest of them, all the ones that are very similar to that, I will then sync the edit across, and then I'll go in and make changes. There's no point restarting the entire edit if I'm going to do the same sort of vibe. Biggest difference I want to do is I want to pull some saturation out of this one. I'm going to slap that straight down to -30, and the blue specifically, I'm not going to desaturate more, but I'm going to darken it a little bit. I want to lighten this bit. Oh, I prefer that. Oh, I'm going to lighten the blues like massively actually. I can't figure out. I don't know which part of the image this is. So that's fine. We're going to use a tone curve instead. And lighten up a little bit. Only a tad. Desaturate. I actually think the desaturation is the only change I want to make to that. I'm happy with that. I think we're going to pull the shadows up a little bit in this one and highlights a bit further down. Tell you what, I'm going to shove on to this one a linear gradient and pull the highlights out that a bit more. Give these clouds a bit more moodiness. A little bit of contrast out of the top as well. Boom. There you go. Before and after. Before, after. I am happy with that. That's very good. I'm happy with that. How does that differ? Let's have a quick look. How did that differ to... Okay. Very different edit than before. I don't actually know which one I prefer. I think I prefer my original one, if I'm honest. Okay, so that is image number 2. As I say, I know that was really quick. I'm speeding through this, but I'm not going to re-edit to do exactly the same edit again. I might as well just copy what I did before. Same again with this next one. Now, this one is a moody shot. This is a shot I feel like every photographer in London has taken, but I love this shot. Anyway, before and after. As you can see, even though there is a lot of purple in the sky there, I have taken it out. And yeah, we're going to start again. We're going to go straight from what we did before. So we want this to be in sync with the last 2 images we've done. I don't even think, oh, didn't mean to do that. I don't even think that needs cropping really. Although saying that, I want that. Let's get a shard in the middle. Okay, so first things first, I'm the realist. We're not going to dehaze. We're going to put a little bit more texture into that. If I lift that, oh, moody clouds, moody clouds. I'm going to bring down these shadows though. Yes. Close these shadows. Blacks a bit more. Highlights. We're going to bring out a little bit. I don't want to go too far with manipulating those highlights. Reds, I'm going to let the red back in. I want to up the saturation of both red and orange and yellow just for the pops of colour around here. I like them. Yeah, we're going to keep the blues nice and light. Colour grading. I like the grade we've got on that. sharpening, noise reduction, everything like this. I'm going to put a bit more of an intense vignette into this though, and feather it out a bit more. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Before and after. Very happy with that. Final one of this set. Final one of this set. This is how it looks. This is before, this is the after. We're going to do the exact same thing again. Jump straight in. We're going to chuck the previous on. We're going to undo whatever hell I just did there. However, first thing you will notice is this is a hell of a lot darker. Up those highlights, up those shadows. We're going to do the entire exposure a little bit. Bring the highlights. Ooh! There it is. Bring that highlights down a little more and up that a little bit more. Bring the shadows down. I'm going to skip straight down here. For this one, I want to adjust this vignette. I want more. In fact, tell you what. We're doing my little bodge job vignette trick. We're going to do a gradient filter. And we're going to do it like this. Like that. And we're going to invert it. Get rid of the overlay. Drop the exposure down. Drop the highlights down. Drop the shadows down. Drop the saturation down. And drop the sharpness down. Reason for that is I feel like that really now draws your eye smack bang to what you want it to be looking at. You got the leading lines, you got the framing, you got now the editing effect that we've done in here. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands right now, but I like that because that, I know you can't see what I'm pointing at, but it really focuses in on the middle, before and after. I might bring the highlights up I like the moody sky. Exposure up a little bit more. A little bit more. There you go. Exposure up to there. There you go. Before, after. Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Final shot. Final countdown. So final image. I've reset it straight off the bat, and we're going to edit this one from scratch because it's a different scene. It's a slightly different subjects. It's an all-around different vibe. And so we're going to edit this one completely from scratch. Yeet. Okay, gone. Alright, so starting from scratch with this bad boy. As always, S-curve. Contrasting. Are we going to S-curve? I don't think we're going to S-curve. I'm going to do a funky S-curve because this is like an S-curve above the line. It's not even really an S-curve, it's just a curve. I'm brightening up the whole image and I want to bring the highlights down. Save the sky. Shadows up because I want to be able to see. Whites down a bit as well. We're going to pull the pure whites and the pure blacks out of this image. From here I am actually going to bring these shadows back down a bit. Like that. Clarity up. Blacks down a tad. Saturation out. Not going to put the vibrance up this time. A little bit of texture in there because it's street photography and there's usually a lot of texture in street photography. Desaturate the reds, magnetas and purples because of that sky. And oranges. I think the biggest effect on this image is going to come in the color grading, which I'm going to leave for in a minute. Right now we're going to pull vignette on, feather it, grain, and now. Okay, so that's the current before and after, and now I want to do the coloring. I'm going to chuck a whole load of teal into those shadows. No. I'm going to chuck a whole lot of teal into the highlights. Can I edit? Can you? And we chuck orange-ish, orangey red into the shadows with some green in the midtones, like that. I don't like how dark this image is overall. Brighten that up. Select sky. Okay, so this is actually a new feature of Lightroom that I've never used before. Ooh, that got it pretty spot on. Never used this feature before. I didn't. I just set the label to blue somehow. I didn't mean to do that. I broke it. What did I do? What did I do? Why did you not let me? I think I broke Lightroom. I think I broke Lightroom. Okay, we're back. I don't know what I did to hurt Lightroom there, but you know. Alright, so yeah, sky is currently selected, and we're going to pull the highlights down, the exposure down, put a bit more shadow in there. Moody sky, a bit of clarity. Put extra saturation in the sky, you know. If I invert that, does that do everything else? Oh, now. Duplicate. Okay. So I'm now going to do a little trick now that I've discovered this, and I'm going to invert the mask so it selects everything except for the sky, and now I'm going to edit just this. So I want the highlights up a bit, because I didn't want to put the highlights up too high before because it was affecting the sky. Now I can do it without affecting the sky. We're going to pull a bit of contrast out. Shadows. Keep them down. Blacks. Keep them down. But then we're trying to expose it up 1 or 2 or 3. Like that. Because I can. I like that. I like that a lot. That's very different to the original edit I did. One sec. Let's have a quick look at the... Where's the original edit I did? Oh my god, look how much editing I've done this time. So that's the original edit I did. That's so much editing. And that's the new edit. And I think I prefer that. I like that. I like that a lot. That's the before. That's the after. God damn! I like that more. I like that more. So yeah, there you go. These are the images on screen now, so you can see before and afters of all of them. That is how you edit Moody Street Photography. I hope you found this interesting. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop a thumbs up down below. It would massively help me out. Don't know why I did like a little pimp, like, don't know why I did that. Subscribe if you aren't already. All the other stuff that YouTube has taken to do, and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to take the shot. Peace.